Were you with Game Day by then in '96 when he
Oh
had
yeah,
his first headgear
oh
pick?
yeah. I started in '96, the same year that Kirk started, and it was a way to commemorate Kirk's first show. Or actually, the headgear was '97. I should take that back, but it was Kirk's first show in Columbus at the time. Right after being the Ohio, doing everything in Ohio State. So it was a way to make that show special for him and wanting to get the headgear on and how can we make this memorable? And it was a way to kind of pay a little tribute to Kirk and Allison as well. But yeah, that was kind of the story behind it. Allison was a former cheerleader at Ohio State and had connections with the cheer squad and the mascots and was able to make that happen. But yeah, no, I started on the show when in '96 as well. But you know what? Now you're right. It was '96. I keep getting my years screwed up. It was such a long time ago. It's funny because someone asked me like who the second headgear was. And I used to know all this stuff off the top of my head when I was updating, when I was with ESPN and with GameDay and updating this headgear database every single year. And I actually looked it up, and I said the second headgear was actually Ohio State as well. The GameDay did a show in Iowa a couple of weeks after the Ohio State Penn State game in Columbus. So yeah, the first two headgears were actually Brutus the Buckeye headgear. But yeah, no, '96 was the year I started. Kirk and I started the same year, and had been on the road every year with them until 2022 for my final year.
Did it seem like something that could potentially take off at the time and become a staple of the show?
I don't think it did, but I think after the first couple of headgears, and then the later on in that year when we were at LSU, and when he put on the Big Al headgear before a big Alabama LSU game, and a fan I think threw a golf ball or a beer can at Kirk, it bounced up on the set like right there. I think the way the fans reacted, I think we probably realized we may have had something then. Is kind of a unique way to end the show. Because remember too, that at the time that year, the show wasn't on the road every week. The show was only an hour long. And then in '97, I think the show expanded maybe to an hour and a half. And then we finally went on the road a few more times. And then it wasn't until like Discover Card got involved and Discover became the weekly sponsor. Like we were on the road every week then. And at that point, it was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. Fans are coming out. Fans are getting excited. Fans want a big payoff, and that ultimately kind of became a way to go off the air after the final pick segment. So yeah, it took a little while, but ultimately when we got on the road every year, I think it's when that segment really took off with the fan involvement.
As a former producer of the show, would you advise ESPN to continue that headgear pick segment or retire it with Lee Corso?
I would retire. I mean, there isn't going to be another Lee Corso, and there really is no. I would just assume that they'd go off the air with their pick segment, and I don't know if they have Pat or Nick or Dez or Kirk, whoever, do the final pick, but I can't imagine, just knowing the people who were involved in the decision making there, that they're going to A, replace Lee, and B, have somebody do a headgear, because nobody will be able to do it the way Lee did. It's kind of his thing, and I think the best way to honor him would be with him leaving the show. The headgear kind of is retired too. But I would just think that the show will now continue with Reese, Dez, Kirk, Pat, and Nick Saban is on the set the entire time. Adding anyone else, it feels like a little bit of on a permanent basis, a little bit of overkill.
Yeah.